They tried to bury you, but they didn't know you were a seed. Every dark word spoken in secret rooms, every plot wrapped in disguise, every whisper meant to cripple your spirit, has now returned to the one who sent it. You, chosen one, were never meant to be broken. What they thought would destroy you only revealed what God placed within you. And now, heaven has turned the tide. The same storm they sent to drown you is the wave you're now riding into victory. You've always felt different, haven't you? Like something about you didn't quite fit in the places others seemed comfortable. You could see through things others ignored. You sensed energies they laughed off. You felt tension in rooms where no one said a word. That was never paranoia. That was your anointing. The sensitivity you carry is sacred. It's not weakness, it's divine intelligence. But that light, your light, it scared them. It exposed what they thought was hidden, and instead of healing, they tried to harm. Instead of learning, they tried to sabotage. Because some people hate what they cannot understand and fear what they cannot control. You became a mirror they weren't ready to look into. Your existence revealed their shadows, and so they attacked. Oh, but what they didn't know is that the chosen one walks with protection even in the valley of death. What they didn't understand is that every curse formed against you had a divine expiration date, that every dark intention sent your way had already been intercepted by unseen forces. They thought you were defenseless because you were quiet, because you didn't fight dirty like them. But your silence wasn't surrender, it was strategy. It was power under restraint. You waited because heaven was moving. And now is the moment when those who mocked you will be forced to watch you rise. Not through revenge, but through revelation. Not by fighting them, but by fulfilling purpose. Because the vengeance of the divine isn't always destruction, it's elevation. It's when God blesses you so profoundly, so publicly, that those who tried to bury your name must now watch it be honored. Chosen one, you have survived storms that should have broken you, betrayals that would have left others bitter, losses that could have shut down your faith. But you kept moving, limping, crawling, crying, but moving. And that is why you are the chosen. Not because you've never fallen, but because you never stayed down. And every tear you cried, it watered the ground for your harvest. You weren't crazy for walking away from certain people. You weren't overreacting when you felt that strange shift in someone's energy. You weren't imagining it when your spirit recoiled from a smiling face. Your intuition has always been divine. They called you too sensitive, but heaven calls you spiritually awake. You didn't miss it. You were right. They really did send things to harm you. Words, actions, energy. They really did speak death over your name while pretending to love you, but the shield around you absorbed what was meant to pierce. This is why you felt drained for so long. It wasn't just life. No, it was warfare. Spiritual warfare disguised as misunderstandings, anxiety, fatigue. You weren't just tired, you were under attack. You weren't just isolated, you were being hidden for your own protection. Because had you stayed in certain circles, your light would have been extinguished. You had to be pulled away so your flame could grow. And now it's blazing, and what was sent to extinguish you has only ignited you. There is a reason your presence shifts the atmosphere, a reason you've been rejected by those who can't explain why they don't like you. It's not you, it's the spirit in you. Darkness always detects light. It senses authority. And when you walk into a room, something in the spiritual realm announces, this one is marked. That mark has cost you much. Friendships, opportunities, peace, but it has preserved you too. It has kept you in alignment with purpose. And while you were crying, trying to understand why things were falling apart, God was orchestrating something far greater. The delay was divine. The isolation was intentional. The betrayal was a setup for revelation, and now the return has begun. The curses are flying back like arrows turned in midair, boomerangs of darkness returning to sender, because heaven does not allow the innocent to be struck without consequence. The scales are balancing. The fire meant to burn you is now consuming the lies that were spoken about you. It might not happen all at once, but pay attention. You'll start seeing things. People who once walked with arrogance toward you now silently watching you from the shadows. People who laughed when you were broken now dealing with silent storms they can't explain. That's not your doing, it's divine law. What they sent out has circled back. What they buried is resurrecting. And you're walking into a season of undeniable favor because God doesn't play about you. That's why things had to happen the way they did, why certain people had to be removed, why it felt like everything was crashing. It wasn't destruction, it was redirection. It was God severing cords that would have strangled your destiny. And now the silence is lifting, the confusion is clearing, the path is opening, and the same mouth that cursed you will soon be silent in awe of what God does through you. You are not cursed, you are covered. You are not defeated, you are destined. You are not forgotten, you are favored. You are the chosen one, and no weapon, no word, no curse sent to destroy you has prevailed. Every last one has been returned to sender. You didn't choose this calling chose you. Long before you were formed in your mother's womb, heaven marked you. Long before you ever walked through fire, the heavens had already assigned angels to your steps. That's why you're still here. That's why the weapons formed didn't prosper. Because even though the enemy knew your name, he never had permission to take your soul. He could test you, but he could never take you, because you are chosen. And when you are chosen, the battle is fierce, but so is the covering. Oh, how you've battled. Let's not pretend you haven't walked through hell. Some days it felt like the very breath in your body was a miracle. The nights were long, your spirit was weary, and still you didn't give up. The enemy threw everything he had at you. He tried to poison your mind with fear. He tried to convince you that you were cursed, unloved, forgotten. He used people, yes, even those closest to you, as tools of distraction and destruction. They called it correction, but it was really control. They called it love, but it was manipulation. But through all the betrayal, through all the misunderstanding, something inside you refused to die. Because your spirit remembers who you are even when your mind forgets. That's why the darkness never claimed you. That's why the depression didn't win. That's why the generational curses stopped with you. Because your soul carries a power that your enemies underestimated. You see, they didn't realize that the more they pressed you, the deeper you went into prayer. The more they mocked you, the closer you drew to the voice of the Almighty. They underestimated your ability to suffer and still stay sacred, to be broken and still rise blessed. You fought battles that were never visible to the eye, but heaven recorded every one of them. And now heaven is responding. There's a trembling happening in the spirit realm right now, not because you're weak, but because you've grown stronger in your silence. Your enemies can feel it. The ones who sent curses wrapped in gossip, hidden in jealousy, they feel the shift. They sense the reversal. The darkness they projected is circling back, and they know they messed with someone chosen. There's something about you they could never explain, and so they tried to destroy it. They mocked your dreams. They questioned your calling. They laughed at your prayers. But they never understood that your quiet time wasn't weakness. It was warfare. When you were weeping, you were warring. When you were fasting, you were forming spiritual weapons. When you were isolated, you were being insulated. They thought they were pushing you to the edge, but they were only pushing you to your destiny. Chosen one, listen to me. What you've endured isn't ordinary. That's why your breakthrough will not be ordinary either. The pain was prophetic. The silence was sacred. Every rejection was divine redirection. You weren't abandoned. You were being prepared. You were being stripped of false attachments so you could carry the weight of your true assignment. God saw it all. Every secret conversation, every lie told, every moment they tried to smear your name, block your path, sabotage your peace. He saw it, and he took note. And now heaven has drawn a line in the sand, and enough is enough. The curses have run their course. The dark assignments have been canceled. The traps they set now catch their own feet. The pits they dug are now their own prisons. And you are rising, not out of revenge, but out of revelation. Because you've been given eyes to see beyond the veil now. You've been awakened. You don't react like you used to. You don't chase what no longer serves your soul. Your peace has become your greatest protection, your clarity, your compass, and your connection to God, it's unshakable. That's what terrifies them the most. Not your words, not your appearance, but your alignment. When someone walks in divine alignment, they become unstoppable. That's who you are now, unshakable, unbothered, unmovable. They tried to distract you with petty things, petty fights, petty comparisons, petty attacks. But you've transcended that now. You no longer fight in the flesh. You war in the spirit. Your hands might not throw stones, but your prayers shake kingdoms. You're not here for shallow victories. You're here to break chains, to set captives free, to heal generations. That's why the warfare has been so intense. Because your purpose is not small. Your mantle is not light. You're not just here to survive. You're here to transform. Don't be surprised when those who cursed you start stumbling. Don't be shocked when the same people who tried to destroy your name now try to borrow your favor. Don't be alarmed when their masks fall and the truth comes rushing out like floodwaters, because what was hidden is being revealed. The truth is louder now. The curses are reversing. The justice of heaven is on full display, not because you begged for revenge, but because you remained obedient. Your obedience is what activated the reversal. They thought you were weak because you didn't retaliate. They thought your forgiveness made you soft. But what they failed to realize is that forgiveness isn't forgetfulness, it's freedom. You released them not because they deserved it, but because you refused to let their poison live, rent-free in your soul. You chose healing, you chose wholeness, and in doing so, you activated divine law. What they sent to you has now turned, and God, yes, God Himself is handling it. You are stepping into a season where your glow will become your vengeance. Your presence will say what your words never had to. You won't need to explain. You won't need to justify. The fruit of your transformation will speak for itself, and the weight of divine glory on your life will be impossible to deny. So walk boldly, chosen one. The curses couldn't touch your core. The lies couldn't stop your mission. The betrayal couldn't alter your calling. You've been battle-tested, heaven-approved. And now you are rising, not in bitterness, but in beauty. Not in hatred, but in healing. Not in fear, but in fierce, unshakable faith. The storm is over. The curses have boomeranged. And now, it's time to reclaim what is rightfully yours. What they didn't count on was that your silence was sacred. That while they were casting shadows, you were gathering light. That while they were speaking death, you were declaring life over your destiny. They didn't know they were provoking heaven every time they touched you with their words, their plots, their manipulation. But now the heavens are responding, and the response is not hidden, it will be public. Because when God brings justice, He does it in a way no one can deny. You see, there comes a time when the weeping ends, when the mourning turns into dancing, when the years of silence become songs of praise. That time is now, chosen one. You're not just stepping into a new season, you are stepping into divine recompense. A holy reversal is being written in the Spirit, and God is about to make it visible. You will not need to explain what you've been through. Your breakthrough will say it all. This isn't about petty revenge. This isn't about proving people wrong. This is about showing the world what happens when someone stays faithful even in the fire. Because your pain wasn't wasted. Your tears were not in vain. They watered the roots of something greater. And now God is bringing forth justice, not behind closed doors, but on platforms you didn't even ask for. The elevation you're about to walk into isn't just promotion, it's prophecy fulfilled. The people who betrayed you will have to witness your blessings, not because you want to hurt them, but because your story carries weight. Your journey is about more than you. It's about the glory of God being revealed through a life that refused to collapse under curses. You are a living testimony that the divine always has the final word. Some of you have been in seasons where you felt forgotten. You were faithful but unseen. You were loyal but left behind. You gave your all and received little. But that silent suffering was not a punishment. It was a purification. It stripped away ego, illusion, codependency, and self-doubt. It emptied you so that you could be filled with something sacred. And now you carry oil, the oil of wisdom, the oil of spiritual fire, the oil of discernment. This is the oil that cannot be bought or borrowed. It is the oil pressed from pain. And now God says, enough. Now they will see who you really are. There will be divine reversals that seem sudden, but nothing is ever sudden in the spirit. It has been building quietly, strategically. Heaven has been aligning people, moments, opportunities behind the scenes. Every time you chose peace over retaliation, the heavens moved. Every time you walked away from gossip, heaven wrote it down. Every time you stayed kind in the face of cruelty, you stored up favor in the spirit. Now the account is full, and the withdrawals are coming. You will see divine vindication not through destruction, but through favor, through open doors that no man can shut, through healing that radiates from your body and spirit, through people who see your heart and don't misuse it, through wealth, not just financial, but emotional, relational, and spiritual. You will feel whole again, and those who thought they had cursed you will be shocked when they realize every curse they sent only multiplied your covering. That's how God works. He doesn't just restore, He multiplies. You thought you lost time, He's redeeming it. You thought the relationship cost you your heart, He's rebuilding it stronger. You thought your reputation was damaged beyond repair, He's rewriting the narrative. Because justice isn't always about punishment. Sometimes it's about illumination. Your enemies were never your true adversaries. They were instruments, tools. God allowed certain people to play their role in your story so you could grow. Not because He wanted you to suffer, but because He wanted you to awaken, and awaken you did. Now you see who's real. Now you know what's false. Now you hear His voice louder than ever before. That clarity is your crown. And don't be surprised when people come back, not to apologize, but to be near your favor. Be discerning. Forgive, yes. But remember, restoration does not always mean reunion. Some people were never meant to walk with you past the season of your testing. Let them go. Release them with love. Because what God is bringing to you now is not familiar, it's divine. This is a season of undeniable, irreversible transformation. The curses have been reversed, but more than that, the energy they sent has been transmuted. You didn't just survive it, you alchemized it. You turned pain into wisdom, betrayal into discernment, loss into spiritual strength. You took ashes and gave them back as glory. Now walk with your head high, not because you're arrogant, but because you're aligned. The tables are turning. What was once above is now beneath. What was once ahead is now behind. This is not karma. This is divine order. The scales are being balanced, and in the presence of your enemies, a table is being prepared. Not a table of pride, but a table of purpose. And when you sit at that table, remember this: you didn't get here by chance. You were carried, covered, called. Every step was orchestrated. Every fall was allowed to teach you. Every delay protected you. Every closed door redirected you. And now the open door cannot be shut. The blessing cannot be blocked. The curse cannot return, because it has already been sent back to the source. You are walking in a new power now. Your name is protected. Your soul is sealed. Your path is lit. No more confusion. No more shame. No more fear. You're not the same person they cursed. You've become fire, and fire cannot be cursed. It burns through every chain sent to bind it. So rise, chosen one. The heavens have ruled in your favor. The verdict is final. Every curse has been returned to sender, and every blessing, it's on its way to you. Let's go deeper now, because what you've faced hasn't just been personal. It's been spiritual. There's a reason the attacks felt so targeted. There's a reason the betrayal felt so intense. Because it wasn't just people coming against you, it was the spirit behind them reacting to your light. Chosen one, you are not merely a human walking through life. You are a vessel of divine intelligence. You are an energy force that disrupts systems, exposes hidden motives, and brings truth to places built on illusion. You don't just walk into rooms, you shift atmospheres. And when you carry that kind of frequency, it agitates anything built on falsehood. It irritates darkness. That's why they came for you. But here's the truth. They didn't attack you because you were weak. They attacked because you are powerful beyond comprehension. They sensed it, even when you didn't see it in yourself. They could feel it before you knew how to speak it. You weren't ordinary. You carried codes, a divine imprint. And because of that, they tried to stop you before you could fully awaken. The jealousy wasn't about what you had, it was about what you carry. The envy wasn't rooted in your success, it was rooted in your soul. People can wear masks for years, pretending to support you while secretly resenting the way you move, the way you shine, the way you bounce back. That smile on your face, that peace in your spirit, that quiet resilience, it drove them mad because they tried everything to break it. And still, you rose. And what's more, you didn't just survive, you evolved. You learned to read energy. You became wise to the cycles. You stopped explaining yourself to people who were committed to misunderstanding you. You stopped shrinking to make others feel safe. And as you stepped into the fullness of who you are, something powerful happened. You awakened. That's the true reason behind the intensity. You've been going through a spiritual metamorphosis, and every attack was an initiation. Every betrayal, a push into deeper self-realization. You were being refined, purified, strengthened, not punished, prepared, because your calling requires clarity, and clarity cannot coexist with compromise. That's why God had to remove certain people, not because you were bitter, but because you were being positioned. You couldn't carry old attachments into this new season. You couldn't keep blind loyalty to people who secretly prayed for your downfall. So the divine did what you couldn't, cut the ties. And yes, it hurt. Yes, it was confusing. But now you see clearly. Because when you are chosen, you must walk differently. You must love deeply but wisely. You must forgive without allowing repeated access. You must protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. And most of all, you must understand that being chosen means being misunderstood. Often, but that misunderstanding is part of your elevation. God hides you before He reveals you. Think about it. Everything you've gone through has trained you. Every tear shaped your discernment. Every loss revealed your resilience. Every moment of silence strengthened your spirit. You now know how to sit with yourself, to pray when no one else is around, to stand when no one claps. That's power. That's maturity. That's what makes you untouchable in this next season. And those who once saw you as easy prey, they're beginning to see what they were really up against. You weren't just a person. They were warring against a destiny. And now their actions are returning to them. Not because you asked for it, not because you cursed them, but because of divine law. What is sown must return. What is spoken must echo. And when the energy sent was dark, the return will feel heavy. It's not yours to carry. It never was. You were born to break patterns, to end cycles, to uproot curses that ran for generations. That's why your life never fit into their mold. That's why you couldn't follow the crowd, because your soul carries the codes of revolution. You are a spiritual architect, and that power made you a target, but it also made you unstoppable. The truth is, your life has been under spiritual surveillance for a long time. The enemy saw your future. That's why he tried to trap you in trauma. He tried to keep you stuck in wounds, labels, shame, because if you ever woke up to your full potential, you'd be a force too great to control. And guess what? You woke up, you saw the patterns, you broke the spells, you ended the inner wars. You've walked through valleys that few will ever understand. But what's ahead of you now will make it all worth it. You are not just about to be restored, you are about to be rewarded. The years you spent in pain, they will be matched by years of peace. The nights you wept in silence, they will be repaid by mornings filled with joy. But understand this, chosen one, your rise is not for vanity, it is for impact. You are not just being elevated, you are being positioned. Because others need what you carry. They need your voice, your wisdom, your story. And as you rise, remain anchored, remain humble. Let your scars remind you that healing is possible. Let your past remind you that survival is divine. Because everything you endured was not just for your growth, it was for someone else's freedom. You are the blueprint now. Others will walk the path you once crawled. They'll look to you for light. And when they do, don't hide your journey. Share it, testify, shine. Because the same God who vindicated you is now using you as a vessel. This is the paradox. They cursed you, but God blessed you louder. They tried to destroy you, but their efforts became fuel for your anointing. Every wound, now a well of wisdom. Every attack, now a testimony. And every curse, returned unmistakably, undeniably. So breathe deeply. The warfare is ending. The reversal is complete. You are not broken. You are built. You are not cursed. You are crowned. You are not wandering. You are walking in prophecy. You are the chosen one, and the proof is in your survival. There's a stillness in the air now. Can you feel it? That strange calm, not because there's no storm around you, but because the storm inside you has passed. That inner chaos, the confusion, the pain, they've loosened their grip. And for the first time in a long time, you can breathe, really breathe, because something has shifted, not just outside of you, but within you. The spiritual war that once raged through your body, your mind, your soul, has ended. Not because the enemy gave up, but because you won. Chosen one, you are standing on sacred ground now. Every curse sent to break you has been reversed by divine order. You didn't have to fight dirty. You didn't have to beg for justice. God did what only He can do. He silenced the mouths that mocked you and magnified the grace upon your life. Do you know what it means to be chosen? It means you are set apart. It means your walk won't look like everyone else's. It means your journey will cost more, feel heavier, and often seem lonelier. But it also means your covering is greater, your rewards are deeper, your transformation is eternal. You carry something eternal in your bones, truth, light, and divine fire. That's why the enemy tried so hard to curse you, because he could see what was coming even when you couldn't. But now you see, now you know, now you believe. And because you see clearly, you will never again be ensnared by what once blinded you. You will never again be tricked by charm that lacks character, by words that lack alignment. You have become spiritually immune to the tactics that once tore you apart. You've been inoculated through experience. You've grown, you've healed, you've evolved. And with that evolution comes freedom. Freedom to be who you really are, without guilt, without shame, without apology. You are no longer bound by the opinions of people who only saw fragments of your soul. You are no longer carrying wounds from rooms you've outgrown. You are walking in divine liberty now. You are walking with the authority of one who knows, I am protected, I am chosen, I am rising. But even in this freedom, stay humble, stay grateful. Your rise is not for ego, it is for glory. Not your own, but God's. You're here to light the way for others who are still lost in the dark. You're here to be the hands that lift, the voice that soothes, the presence that heals. And when people ask, how did you survive all that? You will simply smile and say, grace, because that's what carried you. Not luck, not hustle, grace. The unseen hand of heaven guiding you through every shadowed valley and lifting you into every light-filled victory. And the same grace that kept you will continue to lead you. This is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning of a whole new dimension. a dimension where you don't just survive, you soar. Let this truth settle in your bones. You are no longer under the weight of the curse. The cords have been cut, the strongholds have shattered, the energy has returned to sender. You've been released. And with this release comes responsibility. Guard your peace, protect your spirit, keep your frequency high. You are a beacon now, radiating light into a world that desperately needs it. And even though the journey ahead may still bring trials, you will face them differently. Not as a wounded survivor, but as a healed warrior. Not as someone hoping to be chosen, but as someone who knows they already are. You're not waiting for validation anymore. You're walking in revelation, and your presence alone will do what your explanations never could. It will reveal truth. So keep walking, keep shining, keep praying, keep listening to that divine whisper within you that says, you were never the curse. They were just afraid of your blessing. And now that blessing is overflowing. It's covering your life like oil, dripping into every area, your relationships, your purpose, your health, your finances, your future. God is not just returning what was lost, He is multiplying it. What was stolen is being restored sevenfold. What was delayed is being fast-tracked. What was buried is being resurrected. Your name is being spoken in rooms you haven't entered yet. Your gifts are making room for you in places no one thought you belonged, because the divine favor on your life is undeniable, and no curse, no lie, no scheme could ever erase what God has declared. So take this moment right now, breathe it in. This is your confirmation. You are no longer under attack. You are under anointing. You are no longer fighting for survival. You are flowing in destiny. Every curse is broken. Every plan against you has failed, and every word that tried to destroy you has turned into a weapon for your favor. Chosen one, this is your moment. And as you walk forward into this new season, walk like someone who knows the battle has already been won. Walk like someone who carries the fire of heaven. Walk like someone who's been through the valley and returned with wisdom in their eyes and glory on their steps, because that's who you are now. And from this day forward, may no weapon formed against you prosper. May no curse linger in your atmosphere. May no darkness cling to your presence. And may every blessing assigned to your name find you fully, fiercely, and forever. You are chosen. You are covered. You are crowned. And everything that was meant to destroy you has been returned to sender. Go in peace, walk in power, speak in truth. And never forget, heaven always fights for its own.